I need to make sure that, okay, it's recording. I've had issues. I had made a video before this one a couple of days ago, and it wasn't recording. It recorded like the first 50 seconds, and then that was it. It like stopped recording. So I'm gonna be checking this periodically because I think my camera's probably messing up. But anyway, this is the video I promised to do on racing thoughts. First, let me tell you what the racing thoughts are. Racing thoughts are exactly what it says, racing thoughts. It's when our thoughts just don't stop. It's like it jumps from one thing to another, to another, to another, to another, to another, to another, like within, like, just like I said, from this thought to this thought to this thought, and then it goes way over here to this thought, and then it comes back to this thought, and like, and sometimes it's like really crazy out there thoughts, well, most of the time. And they just don't stop. It's like non-stop racing thoughts. Like what I said, like it's called racing thoughts. And they can be really bothersome. They can be really scary. They can trigger panic attacks. Things like that. I know with me, I'm going to explain, I guess, what racing thoughts are, how they're triggered, things like that, what I have experienced in my past. I have racing thoughts every day. I mean, every single day, something happens. I'm always thinking. I could even be talking right now. I'm talking to y'all. I'm thinking of all kinds of things at the same time while I'm talking. And sometimes it makes me feel like I'm out of it, like I'm not really here, like I'm on autopilot mode or something like that because of the racing thoughts. Because I have those thoughts, but I'm able to do other things while I'm thinking them. It's weird. But anyway, I want to start out with triggers. There's so many triggers for racing thoughts. We're going to go by the external. We're going to do the external triggers first, and then we're going to go into inner triggers. External triggers are like TV shows, movies, when you walk in and hear a conversation somebody's having about a disease or something like that. Posters you might see on the wall. Things like that are external triggers that can cause the racing thoughts to begin and to really, really get like crazy. Really, to become really racing thoughts, like really bad. TV shows, it's weird. This is how I am, and I think a lot of people with anxiety deal with this because we already deal with the whole Google thing. You want to Google symptoms, and because we have health anxiety, we get a little headache, or we get a little nauseated, or we get this cold sensation in our shoulder, or all these weird things that happen to us are like one of our legs goes numb and we're like, oh my gosh, what's going on, and we want to go Google. And of course, Googling is a trigger. It causes our thoughts to start racing, and we start like, oh my goodness, that's exactly what's happening to me, and what if this, and what if that, and the what ifs start, And for me, I like what I was originally going to say. I love certain shows, or I used to. I don't really watch American TV and stuff anymore, but I really don't. That's another story altogether. But when I did, I used to watch like House. I loved House. And let me explain to you this. The reason why I used to watch House is because he would diagnose really crazy things. And I was watching it because I wanted to know what to look out for so that I could tell the doctors if anything like that ever happened to me, and I could go and be like, hey, well, what about this symptom and this could be causing this, and all these things. And honestly, because we have health anxiety, we want control over it. That's part of the anxiety thing. We want control over everything. So we go and we research and we read books and we listen to stuff, or we watch documentaries, or this is stuff I do. Like I said, this is me, but where I would do stuff like that just because I want to know, but at the same time, it's bad. Like, for instance, years ago when I was pregnant, when my anxiety first started, I remember watching, this is a TV show actually triggered my fear, my thoughts, my crazy thoughts, dealing with making sure it's still recording. Dealing with blood clots. I had such a major fear of blood clots for so long. You have no idea. Any pain I got, any bruise I got, and I still have it, it just isn't as bad as it used to be. It used to be so bad that like I would, I remember going to the ER and like making them do ultrasounds on my legs and things like that because I swore I had a blood clot. But I remember I was pregnant actually, and when I watched, there's a show called Medical Examiner. I will not watch it ever again. Ever. That's one show I will not watch. Also, Monsters Inside Me, will not watch. There's a few shows I refuse to watch because I already know they're triggers for me, and no matter how much I want to watch them, I know what's going to happen in here. I know what thoughts are going to start coming into my head. I know the negativity that's going to be there. I know how I'm going to start thinking. So I stop it before it starts. And I remember watching this episode, and it was about a woman, and Medical Examiner is about real life stuff, real life things that happened, the real life corpses and like all that stuff. They go and they examine the body and they say, okay, well, this is what happened, And there was this woman, she was like 20 something years old, and she had actually died in a shelter of blood clots. She had 3 blood clots. And they went into like the symptoms that she had like minutes before she died, So for a long time, if I had any of those symptoms, and they're simple, regular symptoms that everybody has with anything, of course, just like anything else, and anytime I had any of those symptoms at all, I would seriously think, oh my goodness, I'm about to die. I have just a couple of minutes, I'm about to die. You know what I mean? And it was ridiculous. And now I'm better when it comes to all that. Like I don't have any fear of the blood clot thing. I have a little bit, because even I still have issues like with my legs and things like that. But anyway, when I get bruises on them, like big ones especially, I kind of freak out. Especially like on the back of my leg or like my calves or whatever, I freak out still, but it isn't as bad. I don't dwell on it as much as I used to. But so what I'm saying is, that could be a major trigger. What I'm saying is, the TV shows can easily be a trigger. I'm sorry, I've been dealing with a lot of issues here lately, and I've just got interrupted, and I actually feel like crying. I know that sounds really ridiculous. Maybe not to y'all. Maybe y'all understand. Because I feel very overwhelmed, and the thoughts really don't help. Anyway, what I was trying to say is, TV shows can be a major trigger, and movies, movies like Outbreak or something crazy like that can easily be a trigger. Conversations, I've had where people start talking about, oh, did you hear about so-and-so? They died, and they were only 40 years old, and it was in their sleep, and nobody knows what happened. Or, oh, so-and-so, my sister. Seriously, this did happen to me. I remember my sister told me, oh, my friend died, one of her coworkers. And I was like, oh, how sad, And I was like, how old was she? And she was like 26. I was like, what happened? And she was like, oh, her boyfriend was she had kids, she had a husband, and she said that her husband went to take a nap, and he woke up, came back out, and she was just dead on the couch, and apparently it was natural causes. I don't see anything about that being natural, but the stories like that, oh goodness, no. My grandmother used to tell me, like her brothers and stuff have passed away, or like our uncles or something like that have passed away, and they tell me how, or somebody has a heart attack in the shower. I'm scared to death of showers. That's a trigger for me. I do take showers, of course, regularly, but it's always like an issue. I have to jump in there. I have to make sure that I'm not, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's real hard for me. I do take them, of course, but like I have issues where like I have racing thoughts in the shower constantly. Like I can't. It's like I'm always thinking, oh my gosh, I'm about to die. Oh my gosh, I'm about to have a heart attack. Oh my goodness, I'm feeling nausea. All of a sudden, I'll be feeling nausea or something, and I start thinking, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna stop breathing. I'm about to pass out right here. And even if I don't die from that, I'm gonna hit my head on the corner of the soap dish and I'm going to end up dying from that because I'm an idiot, you know, and then no one's going to hear me and no one's going to come in here, and that little time that I had to be able for them to save my life at the hospital is going to be completely gone because no one's going to come in on time. The thoughts continue, and that's how they work. It's crazy, you know. There's so many triggers for racing thoughts, and the bad thing about it, I think scary, it's just bad. The bad thing about the racing thoughts is that there's nothing you can do to escape them. You can't outrun them. You can't just, there's nothing you can do. It's in your head. It's like, they're stuck in there. You know what I mean? And so you have to kind of throw positive thoughts in there to kind of fight the negative ones, and it's really, really hard, especially when they're racing, because like when you have the racing thoughts, it's like non-stop, like literally non-stop. Like you can't, it's all, and sometimes mine have gotten so bad where I literally feel like I cannot stop the thoughts, like they won't stop, and I have to just break down, or I have to just cry, or I have to, like, I won't be able to, I feel like I can't breathe, you know, things like that, and it gets really bad. Of course, the thoughts trigger all the physical symptoms, and sometimes simple physical symptoms will trigger the thoughts. Like, I can be having a few good minutes, seriously, only a few good minutes of no racing thoughts, no symptoms, for like 5 or 10 minutes, and that's as long as I've had breaks for. And like all of a sudden I'll feel something, or I'll feel a pinch on my skin, or I'll feel like I mentioned before, a coldness or a warm burning sensation on my arm, or like a simple little headache or a head twinge. I'll get or I'm just going to give examples. There's been times where I felt like a really sharp pain, like right here, and all of a sudden I thought aneurysm, you know, and I thought, oh my goodness, I'm about to die, and I start where I can't breathe, and then I go into a panic, and my heart starts racing, or sometimes with anxiety attacks, the heart doesn't start racing, and I've actually had where my mind starts going crazy because I'll be having all these symptoms, and I'll be like, but my heart's not racing. Why isn't my heart racing? Shouldn't my heart be racing? And then I start thinking something's really wrong with me. I'm not having a panic attack, you know, what the heck's wrong with me? And I start going all into these scenarios in my head. You go into scenarios in your head with racing thoughts. You know, you start thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to happen. This is gonna, like what I explained to you about the shower thing. You know, you go into those kind of scenarios and you start thinking, well, oh my goodness, like I used to think, I actually think so far into the future, like in my funeral, and what people are going to be saying about me at my funeral, or, oh, she was so healthy and nothing was wrong with her and look what happened, the kind of thoughts, you know. And I start thinking of like way in the future of people. It's crazy the way my mind works, and it's just part of racing thoughts, and they can be really, really scary. I've actually gone into really crazy, my thoughts always end in death. That's part of my own death because of something dealing with health. Of course, that's part of health anxiety. They always end in death. Like, always. I mean, I can have the simplest, I can step on a sticker, for instance. I accidentally step on a sticker and I have to pull it out. It's really deep in there. This has happened to me before. This is an example. I pull it out, there's a little bit of blood. I start thinking of something crazy that was in the soil that touched the sticker, that's in my blood now, you know what I mean? And that I'm gonna die and no one's gonna know why, you know, kind of thing. And or something like I don't know, I have the craziest thoughts. I mean, it's like ridiculous, but it happens, and I have to keep telling myself to stop. I have to talk myself out of it. I have to be rational. I have to be logical, because I can seriously make myself go like crazy with the thoughts. I've actually had where, see, my mind's racing right now. Sometimes when I'm making my videos, I feel like I can't concentrate. I can't focus. And sorry, making sure it was still recording. I can't focus, and I feel like, and then I feel like something's wrong with me in my brain, like something's really wrong, or that I'm having seizures, or I'm having, I don't know. I'm always thinking crazy. I have early Alzheimer's. I think really, really nuts. I start thinking I have MS. I start thinking I have some crazy disease that nobody has found yet. They're going to name it Tina something, Christina something something. Christina's blah blah disease, and I seriously think like that, and it's sad. I smile and I laugh about it, but it's so scary. And it's like you can't escape your thoughts. It's really scary. I mean, you just get really frightening thoughts, and I don't like it. It's horrible, so horrible, and it's like nothing helps it. And I will say this. I've noticed from my experience, I don't take medication. I won't take medication. And one thing that helps me is that I distract myself. I'll go put on a good movie that doesn't have any triggers. I'll put on a good movie. I'll put on some good music. I'll read a book. I like to pull out my Bible and I'll read my Bible. I pray. I'll talk to God, sometimes. But my biggest defense on everything is to be logical and to be rational and to be more like, I try to think like, my mind's racing right now. I can't focus. I'm being honest. I'm thinking of what's going on out there. I hear the vacuum cleaner, and I was thinking about my husband, and I started thinking about what's going on out there, and my mom coming home, and just coming home right now, and I've been having issues with my mother. So I'm thinking all kinds of crazy things right now, so I can't even focus on what I'm talking about. I don't even remember what I was saying just a few minutes ago. And it makes me feel really nuts. I don't know. Okay, wow. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'll just switch to something else until I remember, if I do remember. Another thing with the racing thoughts, it doesn't have to be dealing with death. Of course, with the health anxiety, it does. Mine typically do deal with my health and my death. But I do also have racing thoughts when it comes to others. Like, I get embarrassed sometimes because I don't have good clothes. I don't have a good car. I don't have a really nice house. I don't have any of those things. And so, sometimes my thoughts go crazy, especially when someone is talking to me or I meet up with an old friend, and they do have those things, my mind goes into scenarios and goes into how they don't like me, or they're thinking bad of me, or that they're, or that I'm looked down upon all the time, or people don't like me, or people hate me, or because of this or that, or or I start thinking, the thoughts can get really nuts. I mean, I've had where I'm walking in a store and I hear somebody laughing and I automatically think they're laughing at me. Why? That's not logical. They don't even know me. They might not even be looking at me, or even if they glance at me for a second, it doesn't mean they're talking about me, and but I've had this kind of things happen, and I've actually had two. No, not yet. No. And I've actually had where my kids are trying to come in here. I already told them to stay out, but anyway, I've actually had where but I don't know how to explain it. It's bad. The racing thoughts can just get really bad. And they can make you feel scared. They can make you feel really lonely. They can make you feel like me. I get where I feel like I'm like this horrible human being. I feel like I'm an evil person because of my thoughts. My thoughts start going crazy and start telling me negative things. And even though I'm not bad, and I know in my heart of hearts that I'm a good person, and I know that I'm not evil at all. I'm very caring, and I'm very, I love people, and even like right now, I'm having issues with my mother, but I'm thinking crazy thoughts about it. I'm having all these thoughts and these what ifs and the what ifs and the what ifs. I've realized lately that we can't do that to ourselves. We can't be what ifing all the time. If we do that, we're never going to be able to live our lives. You know, I actually have had moments where I can't leave my house because I'm what ifing about getting into a car accident or something crazy happening when I go anywhere. You know, I'll even have thoughts of like, I'll be at the store and I'll start freaking out thinking some suspicious looking individual is gonna, you know, pull out a gun and shoot everybody. I have the craziest thoughts, you know, the racing thoughts, just they don't stop, and they're not very good, you know, and they're not, I don't know, it's very scary, like I said, and it can be very, it can make you really down, it can get you really depressed, you know, your thoughts can, and it's all in your head, it's all your thoughts, you know, they can make you that way. And then when people aren't understanding, aren't there for you, it makes it even worse. The thoughts keep going and they keep going. If somebody's there to help you or somebody's there that understands, then it helps to slow down the thoughts, you know. And I don't know how to explain the thoughts, you know. I really don't know how to truly, there's not really a good way to describe them. Last night we were watching Doctor Who. I don't know if any of you are into Doctor Who. My kids and stuff are, and I watch once in a while. I'll watch an episode here and there, you know. And once in a while, I'm not like always, I'm not like a huge Doctor Who fan, but like we were watching the episode last night and of the brand new one, and the little girl, they had her on medication because there's something wrong with her mentally, supposedly. And the doctor, they told him, he was telling her, no, don't take the pills, because she had thoughts, a lot of crazy thoughts, racing thoughts. And there was a moment when I was walking by the TV, and there was a moment when she was standing there, and she said that the thoughts were just all over the place, that she couldn't catch any of them. And it made me think, wow, that's exactly how it feels when it comes to racing thoughts. They're everywhere. It's like you can't focus, you can't see. It's like there's all these things everywhere, and like you can't catch any of them. It's like you're trying to catch just one thought, and you can't. It's like all of them are flooding all at once, And in Doctor Who, he was able to take his little sonic screwdriver thing and slow them down, for her, and she was able to actually start hearing them, to be able to actually see the thoughts that she was trying to catch. And it made me think, wow, if somebody could actually have some kind of magical power to slow down the thoughts, that would be amazing. But in reality, that's not true. That's not possible. So, we have to deal with this, and we have to learn how to cope with it. We have to learn how to slow down the thoughts. We have to learn how to be positive. That's the main thing. If it was racing thoughts that were all positive racing thoughts, that would be different. But the fact remains that all the thoughts are negative. And so, that's what makes it hard for us, is the negativity. So if we just change it to positive, like whenever you do get a negative racing, you start with the racing thoughts. Try to distract yourself. Or if you can slow them down enough to hear all the real, you start noticing the negativity, throw in the positive stuff. Be positive with your thoughts, and try to do the positive things instead of negative, and it'll help. And like I said, before, just do distract yourself with any stuff that makes you happy. I have my Korean dramas, and I have my K-pop, and I have, things like that will help me. And sometimes my husband, if I have racing thoughts or I start thinking really crazy, I can go and have him hug me. He has to hug me. And everything will be fine. Really. Anyway, but yeah, just racing thoughts are scary, and I'm probably gonna make another video, a better video about this here soon, because I feel like this one was kind of, I told you before, I make my videos kind of freelance. It's like free. I don't really put any thought into it before I make the video, so I'm just talking. I out of my mind, you know. And so, but anyway, I hope y'all are doing great, and don't ever feel like you're alone. Leave comments below, you know, whatever. And if I didn't touch on something, you have a question that I did not talk about, because I have racing thoughts, so I forget sometimes. Dealing with racing thoughts, just ask me, and I'll answer the question underneath. Okay? Don't ever feel like you're alone or bad. Remember to take away the negative thoughts and try to be positive. Remember, you're not alone. Remember to smile.